Hello and welcome to Yoga Stories with Leanne. I am Leanne and I'm so glad that you're here for some yoga with a story. Let's come on down to the ground. You know what to do. Wear something comfortable. Be exactly who you are. Be exactly where you are. There's nothing to change other than just being yourself. The best part about yoga is that you get to be you and no one's asking you to be anything other than that. So first of all, start by appreciating yourself and start by being kind to yourself. Say something nice to yourself. You can even give yourself a hug and notice how you feel today. And remember, not every day is a good day. Just notice how you feel. Don't try to change anything. Accept who you are, accept where you are, and find something nice to say to yourself today on this day. So let's warm up for our yoga. I want you to begin by taking a deep breath in through your nose like we always do, because your breath is the most important part of your yoga and your breath is your yoga. You don't have to do anything fancy. Sitting here where you are and breathing is yoga. So let's begin by breathing our yoga in, just the breath. And notice how the air feels against your skin. Is it chilly? Is it hot? And notice how your breath feels moving in your body. Sometimes it's nice just to slow down and notice. One more time. And let's do some stretching now. Putting one arm down onto the ground. We're going to stretch it over and reach and breathe. And then gracefully stretch it over the other side and reach and breathe. And again. And again, come back to center. Let's crawl our hands forward, 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 reaching our fingers as far as they can go, and breathe here. And melt your heart all the way down to the ground. So good, so nice. Crawling yourself back up to center. Come onto your hands and knees. Make your way there. And when you get there, we are going to tuck our toes under, and we're going to push our hands into the ground. And we're going to lift up and be a floating table on the count of 3. Are you ready to float with me? 1, 2, 3. Float your table and breathe here. The same big breath we took before. And then lower your knees down. Look up and put your heart forward and breathe. And look down and scoop your heart and chest and tummy up as you breathe out. 2 more like that. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in. And this time when you breathe out, we're going to tuck our toes again, but lift our hips up into the sky and be a dog. Nod your head yes, and shake your head no, and pedal out your legs, walking your dog. And keep breathing. And then walk your hands and your feet together. Here in forward fold, and nod your head yes, and shake your head no, and relax your arms and shoulders. Arms are like spaghetti. Deep breaths in and out. And now we're going to roll up and begin our story from standing. Are you ready for some yoga with a story? Today's story is called Springing Spring, Melting Snow. So it was the first warm, sunny day of spring, and all of the snow was melting. So 2 friends decided to go for a walk to the park. So let's start off by standing up tall and walking. One knee at a time comes up in our yoga walk. Walk, walk, walk. Then bring the opposite arm up. Walk, walk, walk. And don't forget to breathe. Walk, walk, walk. The friends walked all the way to the park, and the first thing they noticed when they were outside was how warm the sun felt. So from a standing position, I want you to take your arms up into the sky, hook your thumbs just like this, and be the sun, so warm and melty, and shine your sun from one side with the breath and the other side with the breath. The sun was melting all the snow and was warming the people and the animals. Everyone was waking up from hibernation. Birds were flying back from having flown south. In Canada, there is lots of snow in the winter, and in the springtime it has to melt. So right now we can pretend to be the sun thawing all the snow and waking up the creatures from sleep. Release your hands all the way down. So imagine that we get to be now the snow as it thaws. So from here, from our standing position, we're going to bring our hearts forward as we pretend that we are snow, melting, melting, melting all the way down. You can bend your knees and feel really soft in your body as you relax the whole front of your body down and melt like the snow. And rolling it back up. They noticed lots of things in the park. Not only did they notice that the snow was becoming soft like water, but they also noticed that there was some stuff coming out of the ground, tiny little buds and tiny little flowers. Come down with me and become a flower and a bud. Bring your knees up in front of you and tuck yourself into the tiniest little ball that you can be. Nose lowers down towards your knees. And breathe. Squeeze your knees into your chest. Give yourself a hug. Nice and cozy here. And then slowly but surely, just like a bud, you can lift your head, your neck, and look up at the sky and lower it down. Gentle on your neck. Don't forget to breathe. It feels so good when the sun wakes you up after a long, cold winter. And there were not only buds, but there were teeny tiny flowers too. So come back into your crisscross position. We're going to put one hand underneath and the other hand underneath and push your hands into the sky as you lift your feet up. And now you get to be a tiny, teeny spring flower. Here where I live in Canada, there are little flowers that come in the spring and they're called snowdrops. So they blend in with the snow when there's still a little bit of snow left. And you can feel yourself moving from side to side as the wind blows you. And what's the most important part of yoga? You guessed it, your breath. It's fun to be a snowdrop. You could be a different colored one if you want, but I think mine's going to be white today. And releasing your snowdrop. There were also many, many dogs being walked on leashes. So let's come into our downward dog pose. But dogs get walked all winter long, but they usually go really fast in the winter because it's cold. But on this day, the dogs were moving really slowly because they wanted to take their time to smell the amazing sense of the earth thawing. So let's take a deep breath in through our noses. And a long breath out. Stretching through your slow downward dog today. Taking your time to stop and smell all of the beautiful scents of springtime and the thaw. Dogs love to sniff. And walking your feet slowly up towards your hands and your hands slowly back towards your feet. And come all the way back up again. Everyone was having a great day, but just then something happened. A huge wind storm came. So spread your legs and spread your arms and puff your chest up and breathe your breath in, and you're going to be the wind blowing all across the park. Whoosh, whoosh. Not only was it windy, my friends, but it also started snowing. Faster. What is going on? It's supposed to be spring. Why is it snowing? Well, here where I live in Canada, sometimes even on warm spring days, the snow comes down, the wind comes down, everybody had to run and take cover. Come down, there was a bridge nearby, everybody came to take shelter under the bridge. Come back onto the mat for bridge pose on your back. Slowly making your way down, one vertebra at a time, until your back is flat, your knees are bent. Tuck your hips a little bit up towards the sky, and we are going to become a bridge for all of the animals and the people to take shelter. Breathe your hips up, and imagine here underneath your bridge, maybe even the dogs and the people, maybe even some cats, maybe even some birds hiding under your bridge while the snow kept falling and falling. Breathe here in bridge pose. I'll tell you something that happens in springtime when it snows. Eventually, lowering your bridge down, the snow turns to, you guessed it, rain. So let's now tap our hands like rain, falling, 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 until it eventually stopped raining and the sun came back out. Hook your thumbs, lift up your arms just like we did when we were standing. Breathe up, open your heart, and sun from one side and sun to the other side. And breathe and look up, and hands come down to your heart. The two friends went home feeling tired and feeling refreshed from all of the beautiful fresh air. And they were so excited to go back to the park tomorrow and see what other transformations spring would bring. And that's the end. I'm so glad that you chose this yoga story to do with me today, and I'm so glad that we had fun trying some yoga poses. I encourage you to keep on breathing and keep on practicing yoga. And let's close today's practice with our last but best breath of the day. Breathe it up. Clap your hands at the top. Breathe it down. Great work. See you next time for more yoga with a story. Bye for now.